So, you'll notice I'm not doing this at midnight because the last time I shot a movie based on The Conjuring, I had a wonderful run-in with a currently inebriated individual. Anyway, so, fact of the matter is this. The Nun. The continuation in the Conjuring series, it started with The Conjuring, then into the Annabelle series, and now we're getting to the root of, I guess, what could be considered the root of the problem, the Nun. And if you're coming to get like an explanation behind that whole thing, you're not getting it here. I mean, you kind of get a bit of the backstory, but not really. So, in this movie, we basically get what I would call an episode of Trinity Blood done right. You get your priest, who's kind of like the know-it-all, who's done this before, he's the exorcist. You get the sister, who is, pure of mind, body, just taking her vows, all that good stuff. And then you get the gun-toting, one-liner, who in, once again, Trinity Blood was literally called Gunslinger. In this case, his name is Frenchie. Yeah. One thing I never thought I'd see in the Conjuring movie, guns. And they actually work. Yes, for all my fear of the Annabelle review when I said there's nothing to fight a demon, apparently there are 3 things to fight a demon. 1, you spit on them. You spit the demon away. Don't know why, but seems to work. Number 2, a shotgun. Specifically what looks like a Remington 950, I would believe. If my knowledge of old school, Call of Duty games is to be believed. I could be horribly wrong, please fact check at your own will. And most importantly, when facing down the most demonic thing, Vlaka, or Vakala, Vlaka Laka Shikanaka Shishboomba, whatever the heck his name was. Oh yeah, we finally get his name, by the way. Apparently the best way to fight him is with the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. For those of you who aren't fans of Monty Python, basically it's a little grenade that when you throw it at somebody, boom! Though in this case, it isn't the Holy Hand Grenade, but it might as well be. It looks exactly like it. It's even got the little cross in the middle of it. And it contains the blood of Christ. Used by crusaders to stop a demon. Now, I would like to point out, what I just said, and how Frenchie acts in this movie, would make a much better movie than what we're seeing here. We're so used to The Conjuring and Annabelle trying to do the jump scare. Jump scare. Wait for a moment. Wait for a moment. Wait for a... Oh! Hey, Andy, what's going on? Jump scare! You know, that stuff. And, yeah, they telegraph it to heck and back, which is a shame! This series actually is good at building the ambiance and the terror. So, in the first half of this movie, we actually get the ambiance and terror that you would expect from an Annabelle, Conjuring type movie. And the jump scares to go with it. But, halfway, when Frenchie shows up to save the day, and actually even a little bit before that, it starts going over the top, almost hilarity, like a bad action-style religion movie. Kind of think like Priest, if Priest was actually good. So, you get these moments of like really cool action scenes like we've never seen from this. And when you go into this movie expecting nothing but jump scare and horror, getting a little bit of action and a little bit of, one-liners, it's actually kind of funny. It's enjoyable. I heard people laughing in this movie, more so than some other movies I've seen recently, but it was actually kind of fun. You were rooting for these guys and you wanted to see them get through. And you kind of laugh when the insanity happens of the Scooby-Doo trope of, let's split up, gang! Okay, we gotta fight this demon, we gotta destroy him. So, I, Father, will go to the right, Sister, you go up the middle with the Holy Hand Grenade, and Frenchie, you take that 12-gauge shotgun and go that way. It happens. I mean, he doesn't say it, but they're like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Frenchie, where the heck is everybody? Oh well. It's enjoyable, and actually the combat, I would say, between the demon and our heroes in the end is actually kind of good. Very symbolic of trying to dominate one's soul and actually push out. And yes, if you've been able to apparently follow the series, and there is a little scene near the end there, before the credits roll, that basically ties this all together. It's actually kind of interesting to see how this would all play out in another movie. It's almost like I wish the creators of The Conjuring and Annabelle and all this would get away from this and the Amityville horror and all that, and instead maybe try to do like an actual, like they had in the end here, like a half action, half little horror, but you have good one-liners throughout. Maybe like an Exorcist squad, like we've seen in so many series from, any video games you've ever played involving that stuff. Heck, you could almost pull a Dante's Inferno here if you wanted. But there's so much you can do, and the book that the priest finds after events is really interesting. They're showing all these demons, they're showing all these rituals. There's so much you can do here. There's a lot of creativity one could have, especially when you look at old dogma and all the religion and all the demons of them. So combine that with the stoicness of the father, the pure-heartedness of the sister, and just the wannabe action one-liner of Frenchie, who's not a womanizer, thankfully. The moment he hears she's a sister, he goes, okay, I will no longer be the smooth-talking debonair guy. I shall become guy with a shotgun. And the occasional one-liner. Like, the priest says all but Frenchie, you son of a bitch. And there's the whole handshake thing when he sees him. For those of you who don't know, watch Commando. Great movie. But yeah, it's enjoyable. But it's not the entirety of it. Like I said, it's disjointed. You get into the groove of this horror. You think you're going to understand about the nun. You think you're going to get all these massive reveals. And nothing happens. It's kind of a letdown. And at the end, I'm not upset I saw it, but there's really nothing of substance to hold me over. Like in, go back to my previous ones, like the Happy Time Murders, I can still picture all that stuff in my head because I will never, ever get it out of my head. A cow, a falcon, and I'm just losing the whole stick. You get the idea. Yeah, and apparently this was a good thing. Apparently I heard some nice comments about people who like the hand puppets. So yeah, if I ever happen to come across another rated R movie involving puppets, I'll make sure to bring them back. But back to our previously segment of The Nun, it's not much really there, guys. I mean, you'll watch it, you'll get through it, you won't be exactly mad at it or upset. The atmosphere is good, the sets are good, the actors do a decent job. It's just that the story has no substance or weight. And the script literally diverges halfway through from the serious horror film we were trying to build up to, like I said, a half-hearted comedy action style movie. With the occasional horror aspects of it, but really, it's more just the action trying to get it all done. Which is one thing that I actually do appreciate, that they're trying to change things up in the formula. And I think it's because of that reason this thing's not getting that good of a review on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, granted, The Conjuring and all that stuff wasn't exactly, if memory serves, the highest of quality in this, but I feel like it's getting a bad rap because of it. They tried something new halfway through, and yes, it is jarring, I'm not going to take that away from it. But it's a nice change up of pace, and given the style and the motif we have here, it's actually pretty genuine. And if I was to give this thing the one credit it has over the other Conjuring and Annabelle movies, it feels real. Like, the characters act and feel real, their reactions to the situation are real, and their duty and responsibility for what they have is very realistic. Like, Frenchie's remark later on, shouldn't this be a time for prayer? It's like, there's a time for prayer, and there's a time for action. Great line, by the way. Frenchie goes, I'm pretty sure this is a good moment for prayer. I think we need some prayer to fight the demon. Okay, I'm just going to pray to myself now. You know, stuff like that, the humor of it, but the levity of the situation to help it move. And in horror movies, you kind of need that, because if you're in nothing but a state of tense and horror, you're not going to get the same feel. Now, you can live in the realm of suspense because you know something bad's out there, but if you're always rushing, you don't really get it. And that kind of boils down to the 90-minute runtime of this movie. It's a quick sit, but it kind of hurts. So, I guess, rambling around, should you see this movie? If you're a fan of The Conjuring or the Annabelle series, you'll definitely enjoy it. You might get a bit of jarring near the end there, but I honestly found it humorous and funny, and if you're willing to have an open mind to the situation, I think you'll find a lot of, merit within this. If you don't like horror movies in general, stay away from it. Like I said, even though the last bit's a bit of a action-style comedy, you're really not going to miss much out of it. It's enjoyable, and maybe if you want to watch some of the clips on YouTube, if you type in Frenchie's best clips, give it about, I would say about 2 to 3 months, you'll see them then it's enjoyable. But for the rest of you guys, like in the middle, honestly, if you had to make a choice, I guarantee this will be on HBO or TNT, maybe even on Netflix. At that point, it might be a decent watch, and you can kind of sit back and relax. Because like I said, this movie's only about, I would say, 90 minutes long, so you're not exactly like devoting 2.5 hours to this. It can be something you watch, something you just have in the background. It's quite alright. Anyway, guys, like I said, The Nun, Glad to be back. I've been having some issues. That's why the 50th subscriber video isn't shot, and it probably won't be shot till after I shoot my peppermint video, which should come out around Monday. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Who knows, if I maybe get some free time, I might shoot it, but oh well. Anyway, guys, as always, I'm Kevin Riley signing off, and I'll see you all next time. Later.